Thank you. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to tell you about some breakthrough technology that's going to dramatically change the field of radiation oncology. So let's start with some numbers. 1 out of 2 and 1 out of 3. What are the significance of these numbers? 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women will get cancer in their lifetimes. Of those, 60% in the developed world today would get radiation therapy. So we're talking about large numbers of patients and a very big problem. And the problem is that radiation therapy today is too slow. It's too slow because the technology of linear accelerators was developed 60 years ago, and we haven't had a breakthrough in that technology, and so we've gone as fast as we can in treating radiation therapy patients, but it's too slow. And too slow is a problem because, first of all, the tumor moves. You had a happy meal for breakfast, or you breathe, things move around, the tumor moves. So we treat large volumes of normal tissue and burn it while we're trying to treat the tumor. It also turns out that the radiobiology, if you are treating a tumor and you do it over a long period of time, while that treatment is happening, your normal tissue is getting burned. If you can treat it much more quickly, the radiation does less damage to the normal tissue, even with the same amount of damage to the tumor. And it's a bottleneck. The number of patients you can treat on a machine is limited by the speed of treatment. So our solution, curing cancer in a flash, we're going to do radiotherapy in a fraction of a second. It's 400 times faster than the current several-minute treatments times that it takes. And when you do that, take an image, treat, it's done. There isn't time for the tumor to move around. The tumor is basically frozen in place. We can shrink the amount of normal tissue that we have to treat. And we get to take advantage of the radiobiology benefit of a very fast treatment. And we'll be able to treat at least twice as many patients on one of our machines as can currently be treated, so it's a more efficient treatment and a better treatment. So how do we do this 400 times faster? Well, it came down to originally a breakthrough in linear accelerator design. This came out of the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory. We'll get 30 times more beam current out of one of our accelerators than anything that's used in radiotherapy today. And we're putting 16 accelerators in a ring and delivering all that radiation at the tumor all at once from all of those different directions at 30 times more beam than we have today. There is no mechanical motion. And as you'll see in a minute, the current radiotherapy treatment, there's lots of mechanical motion in order to try to distribute the radiation the way we want it, to sculpt the dose the way we want it. We can do all of that without having to move things. So here's an example. This is a 25 gray lung cancer treatment. This is a Varian TrueBeam doing gated rapid arc. This is the state-of-the-art latest therapy on the top of the line machine. And what the linear accelerator is actually laying in the bottom of the accelerator as you see it here, and you'll see that it rotates around and the radiation is delivered from all these different directions. And this treatment's going to take over 3 minutes to deliver. Instead, we're done. Third of a second, same exquisitely sculpted dose distribution that you get with all this mechanical motion, and we do it in a third of a second instead of 3 minutes. So all the problems that we talk about motion, gone, better radiobiology, and a more efficient treatment. The team, we have, across the middle are our founders. 2 of them came out of SLAC, the World Accelerator experts. 3 of them came out of radiation oncology at Stanford Healthcare. And they got together and said, hey, we have a real problem in radiation therapy, and we have a technology that was developed at SLAC for other reasons, and put it together to come up with this. I had 28 years at Varian Medical Systems, the market leader. I know how to do these kind of projects, and I understand the radiotherapy business really well. Arun manages the whole engineering team. We have a part-time CFO, Carol, she's great, keeps us straight, and a great set of advisors who are helping us to go make this happen. In terms of IP, we have exclusive licenses to a package of 15 patents, both US and international, out of Stanford. These are both very broad and more specific to what we need. So for example, the idea of using more than one accelerator to treat a radiotherapy patient at the same time is patented, and we have that patent. We also have a bunch of TibaRay IP on top of this that we are continuing to develop. All the Stanford patents are issued patents. The others are pending. So now what does this mean competitively? We're going to disrupt the competitive landscape. So here's a 2x2. We have treatment speed across the bottom. We have the conventional slow multi-minute treatments on the left-hand side. That's what's happening today. And then we have sub-second type of treatments on the right-hand side. And then cost effectiveness on the other axis. On the bottom of cost effectiveness are the proton vendors, so proton therapy vendors. And then there's the main bulk of radiation oncology on top of them that's more cost effective. So in terms of treatment speed, all of the proton vendors are going to be able to do this very fast treatment. They're working on it now. They're going to figure out how to do it. They're actually running clinical trials on some of it now. We'll get to piggyback on that. The problem with protons is those machines are gigantic, and it's super expensive. So we're talking about a gantry that weighs 200 tons, as opposed to what we're going to build as a thing that fits inside a 10-foot tall radiotherapy vault. The vendors in the mainstream part of the business, which is where we can really do this, don't have the technology to get there. Varian, for example, who's the market leader, is doing this in protons. They have a proton business. They're trying to do this in protons. I'm not worried about protons. They're too expensive. So for a fraction of the proton price, we're the only ones who are going to be able to do this sub-second radiotherapy in existing radiotherapy vaults, get the benefits for the patients and do that. In addition, we're going to be able to do it with exquisite dose sculpting, and the proton vendors are sacrificing that. So it's a unique TibaRay only solution that we're coming out with. So are we going to make money doing this? Heck yeah. We're talking a market of 7 billion TAM, growing at 6% per year for the equipment. The whole industry of radiotherapy is a profitable industry. If we have to go the whole road, we're running the business to go the whole road, but if we have to go the whole road, we can still build a very nice business. If we get to 5% share of new machines 5 years after introduction, we're looking at a $1.6 billion valuation, profitable type of business in 5 years. However, a strategic acquisition is more likely. The market leaders in this field can't be disrupted like this, so we'll see what happens. So there's potential upside on this business model. It's a 4-year development project. I have a project plan that says 3 years. It won't happen in 3. It's a 4-year development effort to go make this happen. From a regulatory standpoint, we can go in with existing radiotherapy machines as a predicate device and do a 510K and put our machines into leading institutions. Then any follow-on work that we want to do to piggyback on whatever happens with proton trials, we can do at those institutions. And it's a later regulatory pathway to make additional claims. So we can go to market with a straightforward regulatory pathway. CE mark is kind of in between. In terms of funding, we currently have a convertible note open, a $4 million convertible note. And that's in advance of going to a Series A. As soon as we're finished with the last of the technical de-risking, we're going to open Series A. I expect that in the next 6 months. So, to recap, why TibaRay? First of all, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, the need is huge. We've got disruptive technology. We're going to treat cancer patients in a fraction of a second, 400 times faster. And by doing that, we're going to get better clinical outcomes because there isn't time for stuff to move around. We can treat smaller volumes and do less damage to normal tissue and take advantage of the radiobiology. And in a more efficient package where we can treat twice as many patients on a machine. We've got the expertise of the team to do it, so we're uniquely positioned to save millions of lives, and we'll make money along the way. Thank you.